Somewhere in a quiet workshop in northern England, a rumor was born. Not on Twitter, not on Instagram. In the closed Telegram groups and members-only forums where hypercar dealers, factory insiders, and independent restoration specialists actually talk. The places where the real conversations happen, away from the cameras and the press releases. The claim was simple. Christian von Koenigsegg, founder and CEO of one of the most respected hypercar companies on the planet, had personally called Matt Armstrong. No screenshots. No confirmation. Just a single message dropped into a high-level discussion thread, and then silence. That was early 2024. And the rumor has refused to die ever since. Normally, this is where a story ends. An anonymous account makes a wild claim, the thread moves on, and life continues. But this one was different. Within weeks, the same rumor surfaced in 3 separate private communities, different accounts, slightly different phrasing, but the core claim identical. Christian had called Matt. According to sources familiar with these circles, at least one of those accounts belonged to someone with verified ties to a Bugatti dealership network. Another reportedly came from a former contractor with connections to the Koenigsegg supply chain. We cannot independently confirm any of this, but the pattern was unusual. What made the rumor harder to dismiss was its consistency. Internet myths typically mutate as they spread. Names change, details inflate, the story grows with every retelling. This one didn't. The core stayed eerily stable across every version. Christian called Matt, they spoke for a while, and whatever was said, both sides decided to stay quiet about it. The timing added another layer of credibility. The rumors surfaced shortly after Matt completed his Veyron rebuild, the project that made him a legend in the rebuild world, and coincided with a quieter period in Koenigsegg's public communications. Christian wasn't doing many interviews. The factory was deep in production cycles. And somewhere in that silence, according to whispers spreading through private supercar circles, a phone call happened that nobody was supposed to know about. A handful of automotive journalists reportedly reached out to both camps for comment. Neither side denied it. Neither side confirmed it. The responses were vague, almost careful, as if everyone involved was trying very hard to neither lie nor admit anything. And in the hypercar world, that kind of careful silence usually means one thing. To understand why this isn't as far-fetched as it sounds, you have to understand who Christian von Koenigsegg actually is. He founded Koenigsegg in 1994 in Ängelholm, a small town in southern Sweden. He was 22 years old. He had a vision of building the ultimate hypercar, and rather than getting funded by a major automotive group, rather than inheriting a century-old factory like Ferrari or Lamborghini, he built the entire company from scratch. Slowly, painfully, one car at a time. What defines Koenigsegg above almost everything else is engineering independence. While other manufacturers outsource the majority of their components, Koenigsegg builds nearly everything in-house. The engines, the carbon fiber, the transmissions, even the distinctive dihedral synchrohelix door hinges. Christian has spoken openly about why this matters to him. It isn't about cutting costs. It's about freedom, about not being chained to suppliers, about being able to invent things that nobody else has invented yet. Now consider what Matt Armstrong did with the Bugatti Veyron. He sourced parts independently. He developed his own repair processes. He bypassed Bugatti's grip on one of the most complex road cars ever built and brought it back to life, on camera, for the world to see, without a single permission slip from the factory. In doing so, he proved something the hypercar establishment would rather you didn't believe. You don't need the manufacturer to keep a hypercar alive. One man builds hypercars without depending on legacy manufacturers. The other rebuilds them without depending on the original factory. Different scales, different lanes, but the same underlying philosophy. There is also a longer rivalry to consider. In 2017, a Koenigsegg Adra RS hit an average speed of 277.9 miles per hour on a closed stretch of Nevada highway, shattering the production car top speed record that Bugatti had held with the Veyron Super Sport. Bugatti responded with a modified Chiron a couple of years later, but the dynamic was already set. Koenigsegg, a tiny Swedish company producing a handful of cars per year, had publicly beaten the king. And Christian wasn't finished. The Jesko Absolute was engineered with simulations pointing to a theoretical top speed north of 330 miles per hour. Whether or not it ever formally attempts that number, the message is clear. Koenigsegg doesn't view Bugatti as a partner, or even simply as a rival. They view them as a benchmark to surpass, completely, in every measurable category. So when you ask why a man like Christian von Koenigsegg might pick up the phone for a YouTuber who just embarrassed Bugatti by rebuilding their hypercar without factory authorization, the question almost answers itself. We have to be careful here, because this is where rumor and speculation become most aggressive. We are not reporting confirmed facts. We are walking through what sources in hypercar circles allege was discussed, and we want to be transparent about that distinction. According to unverified industry chatter, the conversation lasted somewhere around 30 to 40 minutes. It was substantive, not a quick congratulatory call, but a genuine exchange about ideas that matter to both men. The first alleged topic was hypercar repair independence. The principle that owners of multi-million-dollar machines should not be entirely dependent on a single factory for service, parts, and restoration. This is not a new debate. Questions about long-term ownership viability, the role of independent specialists, and what happens to hypercars decades after production ends have circulated in automotive circles for years. The second reported theme was the future of supercar ownership itself. According to whispers, the conversation touched on how luxury automotive manufacturers have become increasingly controlling over time, stricter contracts, longer NDAs, more aggressive factory-only service narratives. And the question reportedly raised was, what happens when an entire generation of hypercar buyers wakes up to this and demands something different? The third alleged theme was perhaps the sharpest: factory monopolies on parts and service. The deliberate engineering of cars to be reparable only through official channels. Proprietary diagnostic systems. Encrypted control units. Parts unavailable outside the factory network. According to sources, this was something both men felt strongly about. Here is why all of this matters even if you remain skeptical of the call itself. Every single one of these themes appears in Christian von Koenigsegg's actual, on-record public statements. He has spoken about long-term hypercar viability. He has spoken about engineering independence. He has spoken about treating customers as true owners rather than as subscribers to a brand. If the conversation happened, the alleged topics align almost perfectly with his documented worldview. And that is what makes this rumor so consequential for Bugatti, because even if the specific phone call never occurred exactly as described, the philosophical alliance it represents is very real. If you assume, even just for a moment, that this call happened, what does it mean for Bugatti? The answer is that Bugatti has every motivation to keep this a rumor rather than a confirmed story, because the moment it gets confirmed, the narrative shifts entirely. Suddenly, you have the CEO of their most high-profile rival publicly endorsing the man who proved their hypercars could be rebuilt outside the factory. That is not a PR problem. That is an existential branding problem. Bugatti's entire value proposition rests on a very specific story. Only Bugatti can build a Bugatti. Only Bugatti can repair one. Only Bugatti can certify one as authentic and roadworthy. That story justifies the seven-figure restoration bills. It justifies the long waits for parts. It justifies the cultural mystique that surrounds the brand. The moment that story cracks, a significant amount of money walks out the door. So it should surprise no one that no major automotive publication has run this as a headline. The rumor lives in private forums, not on the front page of mainstream car media. And honestly, that silence may be the most telling detail of all. In the hypercar industry, false claims about CEOs get denied hard within 24 hours. Statements get issued. Legal threats get made. This one has simply been allowed to circulate quietly in the background, like a slow leak that nobody wants to officially address. Whether or not Christian von Koenigsegg and Matt Armstrong actually spoke that day, the story points towards something much larger than a phone call. For most of automotive history, the power dynamic was simple. Manufacturers built cars, customers bought them, and the factory controlled everything: production, parts, service, resale value, and cultural narrative. Owners were guests in a system designed and ruled by the brands. that dynamic is changing. The hypercar world is no longer a closed ecosystem ruled by Molsheim and Maranello. It is an open conversation, and the people driving that conversation are not always the ones sitting in the corner offices of legacy manufacturers. There are now dozens of independent restoration specialists building global audiences. There are smaller manufacturers inspired by what Christian built in Sweden, starting up in countries where supercars were never built before. There are buyers who are getting smarter, asking harder questions, and demanding more transparency from the brands they spend millions with. The era of the factory dictating all the rules is ending, slowly, quietly, but unmistakably. Whether or not a phone call ever happened, the idea it represents is already reshaping the industry. And brands like Bugatti will either adapt to that shift or watch their cultural grip slip away, one viral rebuild video at a time.